Hi friends, it's Dave again from Southgate Imaging. So, yesterday I was on Marketplace and I found a local, very local, within walking distance, used FS 800 for sale. Couldn't help myself, had to go look at it, and it was absolutely mint. Picked it up to keep my first FS 800 company. I guess this will be the drop-in guitar for any friends that come over and they just need to pick something up. So that's what that's going to be. The guitar itself is pretty much the same. They're both FS 800s. The difference with this, obviously, it's a natural top, gloss natural top. My existing one is the burst, sand burst. So when I got it, basically, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go through the process and I'll bookmark these. So if you want to jump ahead, go ahead. The playing will be at the end, so if you just want to hear the guitar, just jump to the end. But basically I'll go through. So the things I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about just the blind process, how I examine the guitar. Then I'm going to talk about setting it up, quick setup I did last night, string change, and then basically just some playing examples and why this one probably sounds a little different than the burst. So here we go. So when I picked it up, it was obvious it hadn't been played. The owner told me that he bought it 2 years ago and he hadn't maybe 5 hours of playtime on it. It looked brand new, and it really was, except the strings were absolutely dead. So the strings were like 2 years old, corroded. There was no life left in the strings. So I purchased it. It was a great transaction, great buyer. The only thing, the big thing I check, I always do this. I bring the paint stick, put it on the bridge, and you'll see me do this all the time when I put guitars. And I'm just looking for excessive belly bulge, and there was none on this. This one was fine. I checked the frets, and there was no sharp frets, so that was fine. And I know the guitar wasn't humidified, so my thought process is, a lot of these, this was an apartment building, a lot of these apartment buildings have heat pumps, and they don't have particularly dry heat here in the winter. So I think that's probably saving a lot of guitars right now. I think homes with forced hot air heat, they got a lot of problems with dried out guitars, but this one was fine. There's really no issues with this. So I took it home. The setup process is it sounds complicated, but once you actually work through it, it's not so bad. So there's three kind of components of a setup. One's the neck relief, and I'll show you how I check that. One is the nut height, and I'll show you how I check that. And one's the saddle height, and I'll show you how I check that. You kind of got to do them in order, so you can't just kind of, oh, I'm just going to lower the saddle and everything's going to be fine. It's not really the way it works with a setup. So with me, my setups are pretty simple, but you can take a guitar that's unplayable to something that plays really good without a whole lot of effort. So basically the neck relief I check, you can fret, you can capo, or you can just use your finger, push down on the first fret and probably the 12th or 14th fret. And what you do is you're just looking for a little bit of relief in the neck. What I'm saying is that you should be able to press down that string. It shouldn't be resting on that fret, but it shouldn't be far above it. And overall, it's a personal favor. How much relief you want to have in your neck, how low you want your action, whatever. But really, you don't want it vibrating. If you set your action too low, you're going to get a lot of buzzing. So you don't want that. So there's a kind of a compromise. People like fingerstyle players like their action really low. People that strum really hard probably want their action a little higher, because the strings are going to rattle around if the action's set too low. So this one was not too bad. I actually tightened it a touch, and I'll show you that in the video here, the process of doing that. But it wasn't really bad. I could have left it alone, but I was like, I can just take probably a quarter turn to tighten it. So you tighten the truss rod, you'll reduce the neck relief. And this one, just a touch. I could have left it, but that's the way I did it. The way you check the nut height, I basically just press down on the 3rd fret, and I'm looking up here at the 1st fret, and what I'm looking for is how high that string is above that fret. So if it's really like far, like I don't measure it, I just know by eye. If you could take a credit card and put it underneath there, that's way too high. You just want it kissing that. And these FS 800s, I've had a few of them now, and none of them really have a big problem. They're at the nut. The nuts are always cut very good, and I could tell right away there was no reason to have to touch that. So at this point, I've adjusted the neck relief a little bit by about 1/4 of a turn, and I haven't had it touch nut. And then the third thing, I'm looking at the string height on the 12th fret right here, and in this case, it was almost where I wanted it. But when you got the strings off anyway, and if you're thinking about taking it down, that's probably the time to do it, because you don't want, if you put new strings back on and the string height is still a touch too high, you're going to have to take strings off and go through all that. So I just shaved a touch off the saddle. I mean, just a touch. What I do is I just take a pencil and a straight edge, just mark the bottom of the saddle, a very little amount in this case, and shave that down in sandpaper, usually on a tile floor that's nice and flat. So that's what I did there, and it's adjusted beautifully. It's just the way I like it. I could go lower, I'm sure, but I didn't really want to go lower. I go to a jam, and sometimes you're getting enthusiastic banging around on the thing, so I didn't really want to get into that. So that was it, and then I put on some new light gauge strings, 80/20 bronze, which I'm not totally a fan of it. It was the only strings I had left in the house, new strings, and they're fine. My preference, I just like Dordidio EJ16s, and probably the next time I change out the strings, I'll go back to the EJ16s. I'm not a huge fan of 80/20 bronze. It's a more mellow sound, and I like the little more brightness of the phosphorus bronze EJ16s. But that's just a matter of personal taste. Hey, I had the strings in the drawer. That's what got on it yesterday. So that was it. So it was basically set up in, oh my, probably 30 minutes to 40 minutes. In the process of doing that, while you have the strings off, you just give a general cleanup of guitar, polish the frets. You basically just take some steel wool, fine steel wool. I put masking tape around each fret like that, so just the frets exposed, so you're not sanding the fretboard, and just lightly get the corrosion off of the frets. Nothing serious at all. Just kind of polishes it up, makes it look better. And lemon oil. So there's lemon oil. You just basically you clean it off with a little bit of water and a cloth, and then you apply lemon oil, and it just absorbs that, because this was the first time this thing was ever conditioned. So you basically do the fretboard and you do the bridge. So that's it. So that's my poor man's setup, and it was maybe it was 45 minutes to do everything and have it all set up. And I played it for a couple hours. So it was just a little fun entertainment. I love doing it. Sometimes I'll pick up a used guitar and I don't have to do anything. It's kind of disappointing, because I like to play around and make myself feel useful. So that was it. So then now it's a great sounding, great playing guitar. So let's get down to do a few playing samples. Okay, let's get to the playing. So these are fresh 80/20 bronze strings. They don't sound terrible. To me, I just like phosphorus bronze, but everyone has their thing. So let's do a little Main Street by Bob Seger. That still sounds really good. It just keeps going. These are great little guitars. Very, very lightweight, and they resonate well. And that's what you're hearing. So they're not overbuilt at all. They have scallop bracing. They really resonate. Let's just a little knocking on heaven's door. Whenever I teach guitar, I always teach knocking on heaven's door to get started. It just wants to keep going. Okay, so we just dropped into drop D. Basically, you take your E string, you drop it down. That's why the tuner's on. You drop it down to a D, and it's called drop D tuning. So this is Whiskey and You, Chris Stapleton song. Anyway, a little Chris Stapleton. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, these little FS 800s are just fantastic. I can't say no to them when they come up. Now remember, please like, subscribe, and any comments, feel free. I've got subscribers now from all over the world. It's really nice, and have some interesting comments, so that's really great. Anyway, enjoy your day. Have a good time. Bye-bye.